What I did for some of the dolls is just sew the sock and shoe right to the leg so it doesn't come off. If you don't want to make the foot separate, you can do that as well. The other thing is some of the yarn might be a little bit smaller than the other thicker yarns that you use. So if you have a yarn that's a little bit smaller, you can increase the size. So I'm going to show you with this, I'm finishing up this one sock. I'm going to show you how you can increase the size if you need to. So you just take and make one single crochet into the first stitch, and then make 2 single crochet into the second stitch. And then you just repeat that all the way around, and that will increase the size a little bit if you need to. Then when you're finished with your sock, you just take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch over, and then just yarn over and pull enough yarn through when you finish off to sew it onto the doll. Then you just take some craft stuffing if you don't have a foot that you made, and then you just sew it with your tapestry needle. Make sure that it's even with your other foot that you made, and then you just sew it onto the leg of your doll. Also, as you're sewing the foot on, make sure that you keep the foot pointing straight and it's not crooked as you sew. This is what the feet look like when I've sewn it on the doll. You can see that it's on there. It won't come off. That's one. The first thing you're going to do is take and stuff whatever craft stuffing that you're using into the foot. Then take your tapestry needle and place it onto the long end you left for sewing, or just get the same colored yarn, and then you're just going to place the foot onto the leg and then sew it in place. Make sure that it's straight before you start sewing, and then you just take and go in and out with your tapestry needle and sew the foot in place. This is what the feet look like after I sewed them on. Now I'm going to place the socks. Take whatever sock that you made, and this is for the black dress, or black skirt I should say, shoe, and you're just going to take and put the sock into the shoe. Then you can sew the shoe in place. So take your tapestry needle and just sew the strap across the top of the sock, and then sew the shoe in place. And here's what the shoe looks like after you've sewn it on. And then I'm going to go ahead and sew. You can leave it so that the sock and shoe go onto the doll just like this and comes off, but for mine, I'm going to go ahead and sew the sock in place. If you are going to sew it in place, make sure that you use the same color as the sock, so the white color, to sew it to the leg. This is what the shoe looks like after I've sewn it onto the sock. This hair I made the same way, the golden hair, as I did for the red hair, the braided hair, except that I cut the bangs and tied knots. I left the curls on the blonde-haired doll, and then I tied a ribbon in the center for the blonde-haired doll. And then I'm also going to sew on the socks and the shoes, and I'm going to use the white yarn to sew the socks onto for the white and black skirt. I'm going to show you the differences. You're going to make the white blouse the same way that you started the blue sweater, but you're going to make the sleeves a little bit differently. And what you're going to do is you're going to turn your work so that the right side is facing you and that the wrong side is on the inside. So I have the right side facing the way I want to. And then you're going to join the yarn in the back. So you take your white yarn and join it. Go ahead and tie a knot. First, before tying a knot, just chain one and then tie your knot. The buttons that I used are from Favorite Findings. You get a big package of buttons, and I'm going to use the green ones. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch over. You're going to work behind the loose yarn end, and you're going to make one single crochet into the first stitch. Let's see if I can grab that loop. Try that again. And then you're going to make two single crochet into the second stitch. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to where you started. So one single crochet into the first stitch, two single crochet into the second stitch. And repeat that pattern all the way around back to the beginning. When you reach the beginning, then you're going to make a slip stitch into that first stitch that you made. Just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on your hook. I finished with 24 stitches in that round. That way you'll have the same number of stitches when you work the other sleeve. Then you're going to make a chain of 3. And you're just going to make one double crochet into every stitch around. And then come back. When you reach the first chain 3 that you made, you're going to make a slip stitch into that top stitch of that first chain 3. Just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3 for the next round, and you're going to make one double crochet into 2 stitches and then a double crochet decrease. So this first chain 3 counts as the first double crochet. Then you're going to make a double crochet into the second stitch. Then you're going to make a double crochet decrease. Just yarn over, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2, 2 loops remaining, yarn over and go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2, and then yarn over and go through 3 for a double crochet decrease stitch. You're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the beginning. When you reach the beginning, that first chain 3 stitch, you're going to go into the top stitch of that first chain 3 that you made, and you're going to make your slip stitch. Then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into the work. And then you're going to repeat the same thing on the other sleeve. For the shells that go across the front of the blouse, you're just going to take your white yarn, fold it over on itself to form a loop. Hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb, then just yarn over and turn the hook upside down and bring the yarn through that loop for your slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, actually you're going to single chain 2 more. Make a chain of 2 more, so you have a total of 6 in your chain. So 6 in your chain. Then you're going to take your hook and go into the second chain from the hook, bring up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through both for a single crochet. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch over. And then you're going to make a half double crochet into the same stitch. So you just yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through all 3 for a half double crochet. Then you're going to make a double crochet, yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. Then you're going to make a half double crochet, yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over and go through all 3 for a half double crochet. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch over. And then you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch over. And then you're going to make a half double crochet. Then a double crochet in the same stitch. Then a half double crochet into the same stitch. And then you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch over. And then you're going to finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew this onto the blouse. Then you're just going to take the 2 shells and you're going to line them up with the front of the blouse. Then take your tapestry needle and just sew along the edge, the back edge, onto the front of the sweater. And then come back. This is how mine looks after sewing it onto the front of the blouse. And then I'm just going to bury the loose yarn ends on the wrong side of the blouse. Just take and weave the loose yarn end onto the inside of the blouse. And then just cut your loose yarn end. Go ahead and bury your loose yarn ends, and then we'll sew the buttons on to the blouse. You can use a sewing needle and thread to sew the buttons on, but I'm going to use my yarn. So I have my slender tapestry needle. The eye of my tapestry needle is slender, so I can fit my hook through and bring the yarn through. And I'm using the same colored yarn as my buttons. This is Caron Simply Soft yarn that I'm using. And then I found the easiest way to get the yarn to go through is to move the DMC yarn threader up and down. and then that brings it right through. And then you can sew your buttons on. The black skirt is made the same way, or started the same way as the brown dress, except for the straps. I have 32 rows for the straps, each strap for the skirt. So it can wrap around the blouse and make a cross in the back. I sewed a button on each side of the skirt. Now after you sew the buttons on to the front of the skirt, then you can take and bring the white portion of the blouse to the inner portion of the skirt, just along the bottom 3 rows of the blouse. Make sure that you center it onto the front of the blouse, and then take your black yarn on your tapestry needle and you're going to sew the skirt to the blouse. For mine, I just sewed right along the top of the skirt to the blouse, making sure that you keep the blouse open. And then you're going to take and sew up along the strap, sewing the straps to the front of the blouse. Before you start sewing the strap to the blouse, I would recommend sewing the cross stitch at the back of the skirt first to make sure that your straps will reach the back of the skirt. Then, after you're finished sewing on the straps, you're going to take and turn toward the back of the skirt. You're going to join the yarn at the bottom hem of the skirt, chain 1, then go ahead and tie a knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to make 3 more double crochet into the same stitch. And I'm going to go ahead and cut my loose yarn end. Then I want to skip 2 stitches, and in the 3rd stitch I'm going to make 4 double crochet. Skip 2 stitches, and repeat this pattern all the way around back to the beginning, and then come back. Now I'm back to where I started. I have 1 stitch left. I'm just going to skip that stitch and make a slip stitch into that top stitch, that first chain 3 that I made. And then I'm just going to go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then you can go ahead and bury that loose yarn end, and then you have a cute little skirt and blouse. All complete. This is what the feet look like after I sewed them on. Now I'm going to place the socks. Now if you're making the multicolored stocking, I'm going to show you how to do that, how to change colors. That way you can use whatever colors that you want to change colors to. So I'm just going to take my yarn marker, move it up, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch over. Not slip stitch, I'm going to bring up a loop. Go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop. I have 2 loops on the hook. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my new color and bring it right through both loops. Then I'm going to chain one and then tie a knot and cut the previous color. So you can tie a knot onto the back. Then you're going to take your new color and crochet one single crochet into every stitch around. I'm going to go behind my loose yarn ends to bury them. And then I'm going to make 3 rounds of one single crochet into every stitch around. So now you can see I made 3 rounds of one single crochet into every stitch with the new color. And you could tell where the rounds are without the yarn marker, so if you want to keep using the yarn marker you can, but I'm not going to use the yarn marker anymore. And now you know how to change colors, so you can make this stocking as large or as small as you want. I'm going to go ahead and change colors again. I'm going to show you one more time. So I'm just going to go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop. Then I have 2 loops on the hook. I'm going to get my new color and I'm just going to loop it and bring it through. Then I'm going to make a chain of 1. Then you can take and cut your previous color, which was the orange color on mine, and then tie a knot and then come back. So now you can see how I'm making the multicolored stocking. I'm going behind my loose yarn ends to bury them, and then I'm just making one single crochet into every stitch for 3 rounds with my new color. And you can see how it makes the multicolored stocking. So this is what my multicolored stocking looks like when I'm done. And then I did sets of 3 of each color. And then I finished up with the color that I began with. But you can have fun with it and create your own colors, whatever colors that you want. When you're done, then you just make a slip stitch. Just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook, and then you finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. You can also make the legs longer too with the stockings or the socks, which is fun to do. Here's the stocking and feet on the one doll, and they don't come off either. For the multicolored stocking dress, I made it the same way as I made the brown dress, except I made it a little bit longer. So for the brown dress, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, whereas the multi-stocking blue dress has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows in it. And then what I did was I just took in the back of the dress. So you decide which side you want for the back, and I'm going to use this as the back. I'm going to go ahead and join my orange color in the back and then tie a knot. So to join it, you just loop the new color and then you just chain 1. Then go ahead and tie a knot. Then after you tie your knot, you're going to make a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. That's going to count as your first double crochet. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet, go behind your loose yarn end, bring up a loop, and make 1 double crochet into every stitch around. And this is going to form the orange collar for the undershirt for the dress. So you're not actually making an undershirt. You're just attaching the collar to the skirt to make it look like you have a shirt on underneath. And you can see how I'm going onto the arm of the dress, or the strap of the dress, and I'm continuing just one double crochet into every stitch until you get back to the beginning, and then come back. Then when you reach the beginning, chain 3, you're going to make a slip stitch into that top stitch of that first chain 3 that you made. Then you're going to yarn over and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then go ahead and finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then you have the collar for the dress, and now we're going to make the sleeves for the dress. To do that, you're just going to join at one of the sleeves. Just go through the stitch, and right now I have the right side facing me, so the right side is facing towards me. I'm going to go ahead and loop the orange colored yarn, or whatever color that you're using for your dress. Go ahead and chain 1 and then tie your knot. Then you're going to go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, then you're going to make a single crochet, and you're going to alternate 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. There we go. So 2 single crochet into the same stitch, and you're working behind your loose yarn end to bury it. So 1 single crochet into 1 stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to where you started. And then come back. This is how my work looks so far. And then once I reach the beginning, then you can make a slip stitch into that first stitch that you made. Just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you're just going to make 1 single crochet into every stitch around until you have the length that you want for your sleeve. When you come back, I'll show you how long mine is, but you're just going to make 1 single crochet into every stitch around until you have the length that you want for the sleeve. And then you repeat the same thing on the other side. For the sleeve on mine, I finished 7 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rows on mine, or 8 rounds on mine. Then I'm just going to slip stitch into the next stitch over. Then I'm going to finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into the work. And you're going to make the same sleeve on the other side. To make the yellow pocket, you just take and fold the yellow yarn over on itself to make a loop. Then you're going to hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and thumb, then yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through the loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to hold that last stitch with your middle finger and thumb and make a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. That's going to count as your first double crochet for the next row. Then you're going to yarn over and make a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook, which is the stitch that you were holding. You're going to bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, make your double crochet. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet into every stitch back across. Then you're going to chain 3, turn your work, and you're not going to work into the stitch that's at the base of that chain 3. You're going to work into the next stitch over and make a double crochet. And you're going to finish making 1 double crochet into every stitch back across. I have 2 more left. 1 more. Then this is the size of my pocket, so I'm going to go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the pocket onto the dress. Then you would just take your tapestry needle on the long end that you left for sewing and then just sew it onto the dress. This is where I sewed my pocket. This is the front of the dress, and I'm just sewing it onto that bottom, second from the bottom of the dress. And I'm just going to sew along the sides and the bottom of the pocket. And make sure that you don't sew it to the back of the dress. You only want it to the front, sewn on to the front. This is what the pocket looks like after I sewed it onto the front of the dress. Now I'm going to show you how to make the bottom portion, the orange part that hangs below the skirt. I'm taking my orange yarn and folding it over on itself to form a loop. Put your crochet hook right through the loop and hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and thumb. Then just yarn over to make your slip stitch. I'm just going to show you the first 4, but you're going to chain 40. So I'm just going to show you how to make the first 4 of the chain, but you're going to make a chain of 40. And then come back. After you complete your chain of 40, then you're going to hold that last stitch with your middle finger and thumb. Then you're going to make a chain of 4. That's going to count as your first treble crochet for the next row. So we're going to make a treble crochet into the 5th chain from the hook, which is the stitch that you're holding. Just yarn over twice and then go into that 5th chain from the hook, which is the stitch that you were holding. You're going to yarn over, bring up a loop. You have 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and go through 2. 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2. 2 loops left on the hook, yarn over and go through 2. And you completed a treble crochet. And then you're going to make 1 treble crochet into every stitch back across. So you yarn over twice, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. You're going to make 1 treble crochet into every stitch back across. Then when you're finished with the last treble crochet in the last stitch, you're going to finish off, just yarn over and just pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then just take your tapestry needle and take those loose yarn ends and just bury them into your work. Just weave them into the work and then cut the loose yarn ends. Go ahead and bury all of your loose yarn ends. Then you're going to take the orange strip that you just made, and I have the right side of the dress facing me, and this is the back of the dress. I'm just going to take and line up halfway the orange strip onto the dress, and then you're taking the same color yarn as the dress because you don't want the orange yarn to show through, so you would use the same colored yarn as the dress that you're sewing the strip onto. Make sure you leave enough yarn for tying a knot, and then you're just going to sew the strip in place along the bottom of the dress. It might be helpful to have a safety pin. Take the safety pin and just grab the other side of the orange strip and connect it to the beginning part of the orange strip. That way you'll have enough as you sew it. It won't be too short. The other thing you can do instead of a safety pin is just sew the 2 ends together with orange yarn, and that will also work. Just going to cut my loose yarn end. Then when you're finished sewing the orange portion all the way around, then you just tie a knot on the inside and then bury any loose yarn ends. And this is what the front looks like so far with the orange portion hanging below the blue. This is what the hair looks like for the pink-haired doll. And I left the curls, the loops in the front for the bangs, and then the hair is a little bit shorter than some of the other dolls, but it's made exactly the same way. And I also used the fabric paint for the cheeks. So you could either do that or you could use blush, whatever you prefer. And then also I used pink for the eyebrows. I used I Love This yarn. Has a free pattern included. Some information on the yarn. And the color is ombre. For the pink-haired doll's outfit, I used the F or 4mm crochet hook just for the outfit. For the pink-haired doll's sweater, I made it the same way that I did as the blue sweater, the blue boy sweater, except I used a larger hook. I used an F or 4mm crochet hook. So that means that you don't have to make as many rows. On the one that I used, the blue one on the boy doll, I had used the E or 3.5mm crochet hook. So you ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows on just the sweater under the sleeves. But with the larger crochet hook, this is the 4mm or F crochet hook, then you only need 1, 2, 3, 4 rows for just the sweater. But we're going to continue on with the pink-haired doll's outfit. I'm going to combine the pants with the top. So you make the sweater the same way, and then you're just going to keep crocheting the rounds for the pants. So you chain 3 and continue your rounds of 1 double crochet until into every stitch. And when you come back, I'll show you how many rounds I did to make the bottom where you're making the pants. You're going to find the center and put your crochet hook, see my center, right through the center to make the pant legs. Then go ahead and chain 1 and then tie a knot. Then you're going to go ahead and chain 3 and you're going to make 1 double crochet into every stitch around. I'm going to go behind my loose yarn end so I can go ahead and bury it. And then once you get back to your starting chain 3, come back and I'll show you what to do next. Once you get back to your starting chain 3, then you're going to take your crochet hook, go into that top stitch of that first chain 3 you made, then yarn over, turn your hook upside down and bring the yarn through both loops on your hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 3 and make another round, and you can see how you're making one of the pant legs. And again, I'm back to my starting chain 3, so I'm going to make a slip stitch into the top stitch of that first chain 3. You're going to do that for every round, then chain 3 to start your new round until you've completed a total of 4. So far I've finished 2, so I need 2 more. After you finish your 4 rounds, then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. And this is what it looks like so far. I have 1 leg done, so now we're going to join around the second hole that you left for the other leg. And I have my loose yarn in there, so I'm going to go ahead and join right there. And then you're going to make a chain 1. Go ahead and tie a knot. Then you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to do the exact same thing on this side that you did for the other pant leg. And then come back. I'm just going to show you how for the V portion by the other pant leg, I'm just going to show you how I did the pant leg around that area. And that's what it looks like for my second pant leg. This is what the pant legs look like after I'm done. For the paws, I take the yarn, same yarn color, drape it across my 4 fingers, use your thumb to stabilize, and wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers. We're going to make the magic circle. Then hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. Then take your crochet hook, put them under the 2 loops that you put around the middle fingers. You're going to bring up a loop. Then yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through that loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Then take your forefinger and your thumb and your other hand, hold the base of the 6 single crochet. You have these 2 loops on the opposite side. Take one of them and pull. If it doesn't close, let go and pull on the other one, but this one's closing. Then take that loose yarn end and pull on that. Then you're going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch around until you have a total of 12. So I'll do the first one with you. There's 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochet into the same stitch. Go ahead, finish 2 single crochet into every stitch around until you have a total of 12, and then this is where you can take and close the center of the magic circle by turning it over and then pull on that loose yarn end, and then that closes up the center. Now we're going to make our increase rounds. So you're going to take your yarn marker, and I'm just using one of my scraps of yarn, place it right where you left off. Then you're going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around, back to the yarn marker, and then come back. Then take and move the yarn marker up. And for this increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the third stitch. You're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. Now for the last increase round, go ahead and take and move the yarn marker up. This time you're going to make 1 single crochet into 3 stitches. And then 2 single crochet into the 4th stitch. Then you're just going to take your yarn marker, move it up. For 1 round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into every stitch around. So 1 round of 1 single crochet into every stitch, back to the yarn marker. Then go ahead and take and move your yarn marker up. Then we're going to make 8 decrease stitches. I'm going to show you 2 of them. You're going to take your crochet hook, go into that first stitch, bring up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through all 3 for a decrease stitch. And you're going to make 8 of them. I'm going to show you one more. And that's 2. Go ahead and finish 8 decrease stitches and then come back. After you finish your 8 decrease stitches, you can go ahead and turn your work so that the loose yarn end is on the inside of your work. Then make 1 single crochet into every stitch, back to the yarn marker. Then you can take and move your yarn marker up and make 1 round of 1 single crochet into every stitch around. So just 1 round of 1 single crochet into every stitch. Then go ahead and move your yarn marker up. For this next round, you're going to make 4 decrease stitches. I'll do the first one with you. So 4 decrease stitches, and then make 1 single crochet into the rest of the stitches, back to the yarn marker. Then go ahead and move your yarn marker up, and you're going to make 3 rounds of just 1 single crochet into every stitch. And this is what it looks like so far. You can tell how I have a little bit of an out pouch for the foot. And there's the opening of the foot, or the paw I should say. Now you're going to make 1 single crochet into every stitch around for 3 rounds. And after you finish your 3 rounds of 1 single crochet into every stitch, go ahead and stuff the paw. This is what my paw looks like so far. After you finish stuffing the paw, you can go ahead and take your yarn marker out. Now we're going to close it. So you're going to make decrease stitches all the way around. until you're almost closed and then come back. So decrease stitches all the way around until the paw is almost closed. Then, when you're almost closed, you can make slip stitches. To close it completely, you skip a stitch, go into the next stitch over, yarn over, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. And you're going to keep making slip stitches all the way around until the work is closed. Then you finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the paw onto the outfit. And you need 4 of these. Go ahead and get your sweater pants outfit and turn it inside out. We're going to take and bury the loose yarn ends. To bury your loose yarn ends, you just take your tapestry needle. I'm just going to show you one of them. Take your tapestry needle, place it onto that loose yarn end. Then you're going to take and just weave it through the outfit. You can go in and out, just weaving it so that it's buried into the outfit. And then just cut your loose yarn end. Go ahead and bury all of your loose yarn ends. After you finish burying all of your loose yarn ends, go ahead and turn your work so that the right side is facing you. Then you can go ahead and put the outfit onto the doll. This is what her outfit looks like so far on her. And we're going to be fixing the pant legs so that the feet have the paws sewn on to the bottom. And then the arms are inside, but it's okay because we're going to sew the paw onto the sleeves as well. And then I'm going to show you how to make her hat. Then you can take your tapestry needle and put it onto the long end that you left for sewing with the feet. You're going to place the feet onto the bottom of the pant legs. And I sewed mine to the bottom of the pant legs only and not onto the actual leg of the doll. So I just positioned it and then just sewed it to the bottom stitch of the pant leg all the way around. Make sure that as you sew it, the paw is facing forward. This is what mine looks like after I've sewn on one of them. The hat is made the same way as the feet for the increase rounds, except for you're going to keep making the increase rounds. So with the paw, you had an increase round where you stopped at 1 single crochet into 3 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 4th. So for the hat, you're going to keep going. So the next increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 4 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 5th stitch, and then repeat that pattern all the way around. For the next round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 5 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 6th stitch. Then for the last increase round, 1 single crochet into 6 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 7th stitch. Then you can go ahead and take your yarn marker out. You're finished with all of the increase rounds. Go ahead and make a slip stitch into the next stitch over. Just yarn over and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the side portion of the hat onto the back portion of the hat. For the side portion of the hat, you're going to get the same colored yarn. You're going to fold it over on itself to form a loop. Then take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb. Then you're going to yarn over and pull the yarn through the loop for a slip knot. Just pull on that loose yarn end. Then you're going to make a chain. I'm I'm just going to show you a few to show you how to do it. Just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through the loop for one chain. I'm just going to show you 4 of them. 2, 3, 4. Finish making a chain of 14. Then you're going to hold that last stitch with your middle finger and thumb and make a chain of 3. Then you're going to make a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook, which is the stitch that you're holding. Just yarn over, go into the 4th chain from the hook, bring up a loop, make your double crochet. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet into every stitch back across, and then come back. After you finish the last double crochet, then you're going to chain 3 for the next row. Turn your work. You're not going to work into the base of that initial chain 3. You can see a little bit of an upslope there. You're going to work into the next stitch over. And you're going to make 1 double crochet into every stitch back across. Then you just chain 3 for the next row, turn your work, and repeat. You're going to keep repeating this pattern until you have the length that you need to complete your hat. For mine, I have a total of 18 rows total. Then you're going to take your tapestry needle and you're going to sew. You're going to leave one edge of the back unsewn, and then you're just going to sew along the edges. So you're going to place the side, take your tapestry needle, go into the edge of the stitch on the back, and you're going to sew the side. Make sure that you have the right side facing out. And then you're just going to take and sew the side of the hat to the back of the hat. When I turn it inside out, this is what it looks like. Here's the wrong side, the back of the hat. Then we can sew it onto the outfit. You're going to take your tapestry needle and put it onto the same colored yarn. I have the wrong side facing me. So this is the wrong side facing me, and I'm going to lay it, center it on the back of the outfit. Once it's centered, then you can sew the hat to the back of the outfit. Then you want to finish sewing the side of the hat to the side of the sweater. So continue it around, sewing it in place. Then you want to go on the other side and sew the side of the hat on the other side as well. After you're finished sewing the hat on, go ahead and take any loose yarn ends and you're going to sew them, weave them into the inside of the outfit. Then go ahead and cut your loose yarn ends. This is what mine looks like so far. You can see how the back of the hat looks and how it looks after I've sewed it on. This is what the doll looks like with the paws sewn on to the outfit. For the ears, I'm going to show you how to make the first triangle with the pink yarn. First take and fold the yarn over on itself to form a loop. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, put it right through the loop, and hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb. You're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through the loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, go into the second chain from the hook, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, and you're going to make 1 single crochet into every stitch back across. Then you're going to turn your work. You're going to go into the next stitch over, make a single crochet into the next 3 stitches, turn your work, make a single crochet into the next 2 stitches, turn your work, then you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch over. Just yarn over and bring the yarn through both loops on your hook for a slip stitch, then yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the triangles together to form the ear. Then you're going to need 2 of them for the inner ear, the pink color, and then 2 triangles the same color as the outfit for a total of 4. After you have all of the pieces, 2 of the same color for the inner ear, and then you have 2 the same outer ear, the same color as the outfit, go ahead and take one of the inner ear and the outer ear, and then take your tapestry needle. Then you're just going to sew the pieces together, and then I'm going to tuck the loose yarn ends into the center part. Then just take and sew along the edges until you've sewn the 2 pieces together. This is what mine looks like from behind and from the front after sewing the 2 pieces together and burying the loose yarn ends. So I only sewed along the 2 sides and then I just left the bottom open. Then you want to line up the ears onto the hat. Make sure that once you've lined it up that you don't sew it onto the head, so you can take it off and then sew it in place, making sure not so that it can still come off and you won't sew it onto the hair or onto the head. Then the outfit is all done. You can see how the outfit can come off still. If you want the tail, then you're going to start with a magic circle, drape the yarn across your 4 fingers, use your thumb to stabilize, wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers twice and hold it in place with your pinky and thumb, and then you're going to make the slip knot, and then make 8 single crochet into the magic circle. So I'm making 8 single crochet into the magic circle. Then you're going to hold the base of the 8 single crochet with your middle finger and thumb, and then you have the 2 loops on the opposite side. Pull on 1, If it doesn't close, let go and pull on the other one, but this one's closing. Then take your loose yarn in and pull on that. Then you just make one single crochet into every stitch around until you have the size you want for the tail. So one single crochet in every stitch around until you have the size that you want for the tail. Mine has about 14 rounds, and then just slip stitch into the next stitch when you're finished. Just pull the yarn through both loops on the hook, then finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew it onto the outfit. Then just sew it onto the back of the outfit with your tapestry needle, being careful not to sew it onto the doll itself, only sew it onto the outfit. For extra decoration on the outfit, I used I Love This Cotton. The color was Spark. I joined the decorative yarn to the corner of the outfit on the front. Then go ahead and chain 1 and tie a knot. Then chain 2, 1, 2. That counts as your first half double crochet for across the front of the outfit. Go ahead and yarn over, go into the next stitch over, go behind your loose yarn end, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through all 3 for a half double crochet. And then you're going to make 1 half double crochet into every stitch across the front of the outfit, and then come back. Then you're going to continue onto the hat, and you're just going to make 1 half double crochet evenly spaced across the front of the hat. So when you're working across the front of the hat, you're working underneath the double crochet that you made. So I put about 2 half double crochets into each of those side double crochets, and then do that all across the front of the hat. Then when you reach the beginning, chain 2, you're going to make a slip stitch into that top stitch of the first chain 2. Just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then you can go ahead and bury your loose yarn end. This is what the doll looks like after making the decorative border along the hat. Then we're going to make the center part that goes on the belly. You're going to take whatever yarn you want for the belly on the outfit and just fold over the yarn on itself to form a loop. Take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, and then hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and thumb. Then make a chain after your slip knot. Make a chain of 10. Then, after your chain of 10, you're going to make a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. And then you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch back across. And then come back. I just finished making my last single crochet in the last stitch. Go ahead and put 2 more single crochet into that last stitch, working behind the loose yarn end. Then you're going to turn your work. So this is the side that we worked 1 single crochet into every stitch. Now we're going to work on the opposite side. And you're going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch, except for the last stitch. You're going to put 3 single crochet into the last stitch and then come back. This is how my work looks so far. I just finished 3 single crochet into that last stitch. Then take your yarn marker. I'm going to use my scrap of yarn and just place it right where you left off. And you're going to make 1 single crochet into the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches. So 1 single crochet into 9 stitches and then come back. Then in the next stitch on the end, you're going to put 2 single crochet into the same stitch. Then you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch except for the last stitch before the yarn marker. You're going to put 2 single crochet into this last stitch and then come back. Then you can go ahead and get rid of your yarn marker. Then make a slip stitch into the next stitch over. Just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then go ahead and yarn over and pull enough yarn through to finish off and sew the decoration onto the outfit, the belly of the outfit. Then you can take and sew the piece onto the outfit, making sure that you don't sew it to the doll. You're just sewing it to the front of the outfit. This is what my doll looks like after sewing on the center part of the outfit. It has the tail, the feet, the paws,